Rock and metal concerts are notorious for being extremely intense and physically demanding, and without the right preparation, your concert experience could be ruined in the blink of an eye. So with the North American portion of Alter Bridge's Pawns and Kings tour only days away, let's go over 10 mistakes that rock fans are still making at concerts. First up is not wearing the proper clothing for the show. And no, I'm not referring to wearing fashion trendy outfits or going all out on your favorite band's merch. I'm talking about the practical side of your clothing. For starters, make sure that you have a secure pocket or purse or something to hold onto your valuables. Whenever I go to shows, I'm always worried that my phone is gonna fly out of my pocket and get smashed, or that my wallet will be stolen, but I can ensure that won't happen by wearing pants with zippered pockets. If it's secured to your person, you know that your valuables are safe. Also, don't keep your phone in your back pocket. If you fall on your ass while you're in the pit, that thing could just snap right in half. It's happened to me twice with the same phone, so don't let it happen to you. For most rock shows, no matter the outside temperature, general admission is gonna be hot and humid. So you're gonna be covered in sweat by the end of the show, and it's not necessarily gonna be your own. You've gotta be prepared to endure the elements, which means light, breathable fabrics that do well with physical activity and sweat. Now, I'm not saying that you need to go wear a tank top and bike shorts to a concert, but maybe leave the heavy leather jackets and winter jeans at home if you plan to be jumping around the pit all night. Something else to think about your outfit as well is the temperature of the outside world at the time of your show. For example, Alter Bridge's Minneapolis concert this year is likely gonna be freezing outside since it's Minnesota in February. If you're getting a ride to and from the show and it's cold out, wearing a t-shirt might be perfectly fine since you can just go straight from the warmth of the car to the warmth of the venue. But if you drive yourself and you have to walk 5 blocks from where you parked, you could get frostbite from being outside without proper winter wear. You gotta think about the temperature both inside and outside the venue and then try to plan your outfit accordingly. You don't want to be caught in a situation where your clothes could endanger your life or ruin your concert experience. Along the same lines as my first mistake, mistake number 2 is not eating or drinking the right things before a show. We've already established it'll be hot and humid in the pit, which means that you need to prep your body for that kind of environment. If you're like me and you don't expose yourself to high temperatures often, spending 2 hours in a boiling mosh pit is going to be a shock to your system. If you're dehydrated or going in on an empty stomach, you could end up fainting during the show, which could lead to some serious consequences. We all know how expensive American healthcare is, so I don't think I need to explain to you why you want to avoid a trip to the hospital after collapsing at a show. So to avoid this mistake, make sure you're drinking good amounts of water in the days leading up to the concert. That does not mean chug a gallon of water 20 minutes before the opening act. That's just gonna have to make you pee a bunch. You gotta consistently drink lots of water starting at least 24 hours before the show. Yeah, you might still have to pee while you're there, but at least you'll be conscious and enjoying yourself the whole night. Also, make sure you have some food before the show. Nothing too heavy if you're planning to move around a lot, but at least get something in your stomach so you're not running on fumes the whole night. Attending a show will burn a lot more energy than you're expecting, so do what you can to make sure you've got enough fuel in the tank to last the night. So now that you've picked a killer outfit and had a nice dinner, you're ready for the show. What's the first thing you see when you walk in the door? Probably the merch table. You give it a quick look-see and spot some items that you might want to buy, but you don't want to get them now since then you have to carry them through the whole show. So you decide to check it out afterwards. Boom. Mistake number 3. 80% of the crowd probably had that exact same thought. So what do you think will happen after the show? Everyone's gonna run over to the merch stand and buy up everything. And by the time you get to the front of the line, your item will be gone. So as much as it sucks having to carry around a t-shirt or a CD or a flag all evening, it's better than missing your chance to the merch in the first place. Don't wait till the end of the show to buy your items, since that's when everyone else will be trying to buy them too. Have an idea of what you might want to buy as soon as you walk in the door, and then go get it as soon as you can, even if that means going in between sets or missing a couple songs from the opener. If you're serious about buying merch, it is worth the pain of holding it all night. Mistake number 4 is arguably the most important thing you need to do when prepping for a show. Bring earplugs. It should come as no surprise to hear that rock concerts are dangerously loud, and you can suffer extreme hearing damage and tinnitus within minutes of exposure. Minutes. Never had or heard of tinnitus? Imagine a constant whining or ringing in your ears that never stops for the rest of your life. I have it from playing drums and it frickin' blows. So how can you prevent it? Just wear earplugs. It's really that simple. Now, I know one of the biggest complaints for wearing earplugs is that they can compromise the sound quality of the performance and make it muddy. The reason for this is because most earplugs are designed to block sound, which obscures the clarity and gives everything that really muddied sound. However, there is a better option that's both effective and affordable, and that option is Vibes, who just so happen to be the sponsor of this video. Vibes earplugs offer high fidelity noise protection designed for musicians and concert goers. What makes Vibes better than standard earplugs is that they filter sound waves rather than block them, reducing the volume of loud live music to safer and more comfortable levels that prevents hearing damage while still allowing you to hear the music clearly. That means you'll be able to hear Miles hit his incredible high notes on Blackbird without feeling your ears bleed from the intense volume of the speakers. Vibes are reusable, and they come with a carrying case and customization options, so you can find the perfect fit for your ear shape. Plus, they're extremely low profile to the point where no one will be able to tell that you're wearing them. In fact, I've actually been wearing them during this entire segment, and I guarantee you couldn't tell. I've used Vibes for almost a decade, ever since I joined drumline and marching band, and these things have been absolute lifesavers. They're already way more affordable than other premium earplugs, but if you use my coupon code CC15OFF, you can get 15% off when you order from discovervibes.com. And in case that isn't enough incentive, I also get a little kickback whenever you use that code, which helps grow this channel so that way I can make even more videos for you guys. So if you want to avoid losing your hearing before you're retired, enjoy concerts more, and help this channel grow, go get yourself a pair of Vibes. Many thanks to them for sponsoring this video, and now let's move on to mistake number 5. So this one may make me sound like I'm 80 years old, but if you're going to a concert, please don't spend the whole show on your phone or just talking to your friends. You hopefully paid money to watch this artist perform, so it's utterly ridiculous to completely ignore them for the entire performance. It's the same principle as going to a movie and then talking the entire time. If all you want to do that evening is just talk to your friends or scroll on social media, you could save a lot of money and piss off fewer people by just doing that elsewhere. Like, it's just plain rude to be talking super loud or checking out Instagram all night when you're surrounded by other people. Everyone else paid to be at the same show as you, so don't ruin the experience for them by distracting from the performers. Thankfully, I haven't seen this one too much at the kinds of concerts I like to attend, but I know it still happens and it's really irritating. So just don't be that person. Obviously, it's a little different if you're filming the concert or taking photos, but I still don't think that you should be doing that the whole show either. Just pick out a couple moments to film so you get a solid representation of the night, and then put the phone away so that way you can be in the moment. Watching your favorite artist perform is a unique, sometimes once in a lifetime experience, so don't waste your night watching them through a screen. You'll always be able to revisit those recordings, but you'll never be able to recreate the feeling of seeing them with your own eyes. So try to make that feeling last as long as possible. Anyways, I'll get off my soapbox now, but before we move on to mistake 6, let me know your tips for attending concerts down in the comments. The remaining mistakes all have to do with mosh pit etiquette. And if you don't know what a mosh pit is, basically it's that center part of general admission where people just throw themselves into each other like they're trying to brawl. Don't ask me why it happens, it just does. But speaking of brawls, the first mistake here is fighting in the pit. Yes, moshing is a violent activity, and when you're shoving and running into each other, things can get dangerous. But for the most part, people are not trying to harm you, rather just move around to the music. So if someone bumps into you the wrong way or just pushes you a little bit too much, try to refrain from fighting back aggressively or throwing punches. That's a one-way ticket to getting a black eye, or worse. Plus, it's totally possible that the person you just hit might have bumped you by accident. So now you look like a total jerk. Fighting in the pit doesn't help anyone, and it's more than likely just gonna get you bruised up and thrown out of the show. If someone is bothering you in the pit, try to ignore them or move to a different section or just leave the pit entirely. There will always be a couple of obnoxious people that go overboard and make things a lot more chaotic and violent than they should be, but we can't control their actions, just how we respond to them. Mistake number 7 is bringing drinks into the pit. Now look, if you're over 21 and you want to have a drink or two while your favorite band performs, go right ahead. Just please don't bring that drink into the middle of the pit, because it will get spilled and probably onto another person. Now, not only have you lost your drink, which you just paid an insane markup for, you've also ruined somebody's evening by drenching them with alcohol. And alcohol doesn't dry well. It gets sticky and it smells. When I was 15, I went to a Rise Against concert and got multiple beers dumped on me throughout the night. I was pissed because my clothes were drenched. but more so because I was afraid that my parents would think I'd had beer and I would get in trouble. Anyways, my point is that if you're gonna have a drink with the show, at least finish it before you start moshing. You'll get more bang for your buck, and you won't ruin somebody else's evening and brand new t-shirt in the process. Another moshing mistake you want to avoid is to stop moving. Moshing is all about movement and kinetic energy, so if you just abruptly stop in the middle of the pit, you're putting yourself in a lot of danger. No one else around you is going to be stopping, and chances are they're not paying attention to you, so it's only a matter of seconds before someone just slams into you with full force and knocks you to the ground. I've seen it happen before, and it is not a pretty sight. The people just go down like bowling pins, and it takes a long time to get up from a hit like that. And along the same lines, another mistake people make is not helping up others after they've fallen. The longer anyone spends on the ground, whether it's at the rail, in the back, or in the center of the mosh pit, the more likely that someone's gonna get injured. When you're at a show, your attention is usually on the performer and not those around you. So it's very easy to trip over someone who's fallen or accidentally trample them. And if you get tripped up by that person and end up on the ground as well, that could easily cause this cascade of accidents and someone could get seriously hurt. So no matter who it is, whether they've been pissing you off all night or not, help people to their feet if they've fallen. It's just better and safer for everyone, and you're much less likely to interrupt the show due to a medical evacuation as a result. Finally, mistake number 10 is ignoring others who are having a bad time. For whatever reason, sometimes people just find themselves in the wrong place at the wrong time at shows, and they need to vacate that place as soon as possible. Maybe they're feeling uncomfortable with someone near them, or maybe they're feeling faint, or maybe they just got a hurl. No matter what it is, if someone needs out, help them get to where they need to be. Call attention to the bouncers, or try to make space in the crowd for them to leave the stage area. You may never see that person again, but I guarantee they'll remember you for helping them out in a tough spot. At the end of the day, we're all at the show to have a good time. So if someone isn't and needs to leave, just help them out. Random acts of kindness go a long way in this world, and you never know whose life you might change as a result. Before we wrap up, I've got one more bonus tip that's very personal to me. Don't freaking go to shows if you're sick. I know it sucks to miss out on a concert, especially if it ends up being nothing, but you could risk infecting thousands of people if you do attend a concert while contagious. Most artists are already losing money on their tours, so having shows canceled because someone got their whole crew infected with COVID can be seriously detrimental to their finances. Plus, you might get everyone at the show and all of the venue staff sick, and then that will spiral into massive infection rates before you know it. I went to a show last April, and 2 days afterwards, me, my brother, and my girlfriend all got COVID, and the band had to cancel 2 of their upcoming performances because someone on their crew tested positive. I have no idea if it started with someone in the crowd, or someone on staff, or someone in the crew, but if you think that there's even the slightest chance that you might be sick, just don't go. Everyone at that show will be thanking you, whether they know it or not. If you avoid these mistakes and follow my advice at your next concert, I guarantee the experience will be safer, more entertaining, and more memorable. And if that concert happens to be with Alter Bridge, then you need to check out this video next about why they only play specific songs at every show. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you later.